To Department of English, Govt Postgraduate College, Attock for online classes, and this online class is for M English Part 1. I am Muhammad Ali, lecturer in English, and I will present my lecture in front of you. Today we are going to discuss novel. This is paper 3 of Part 1. Before starting the discussion about novel, I consider it important and significant that we should study that novel is a genre of literature, and literature, and what is literature, because literature comes under the umbrella term fine art. So it means literature and the sub branch of literature genre, that is novel, actually it is art. So what is involved in art? Creation of something beautiful and appeal to the sense of beauty. Beauty is the name of merit. So there is a quotation, beautiful words are the very light of lofty thoughts. Longinus, he said, and he actually wrote this quotation in his book on the sublime. So his quotation, let us discuss, beautiful words are the very light of lofty thoughts. This reference is present in his book on the sublime. On the sublime is a Roman era Greek work of literary criticism dated to the 1st century AD. Its author is unknown, but is conventionally referred to as Longinus, 213 to 273 AD. Now we discuss what is literature, but briefly we will actually describe because our topic is novel. So literature is one of the fine arts that consists of anything written with apparently artistic purpose rather than to communicate information. So the main focus of literature or pure literature is artistic touch. So there is a sense of creativity. Now comes artistic merit of novel. It is a genre of literature. The acceptance of novels as literature. The French churchman and scholar Pierre Daniel Hewitt, actually he said in his Traité de Origine des Romans, that is the name of his book, he laid the ground of greater acceptance of the novel as a literature that is comparable to the classics in the early 18th century. The theologian had praised fictions and explained techniques of a theological interpretation of fiction, which was a novelty. Furthermore, readers of the novels and romances could gain insight not only in their own culture but also that of distant exotic countries. Novel is a genre of literature that is the reflection of truth, beauty, expression, order, form, symmetry, proportion, harmony, perfection, fascination, effectiveness, impression, inspiration, aesthetic pleasure, joy, happiness, worth, appeal, rhythm, presentation, color, ornamentation, exquisiteness, superior quality, sublimity, merit, imagination, immortality, permanence, feelings and emotions, impulse, revelation of beauty, satisfaction, etc. Etymology of novel means the origin, definition and description of novel. Let us start. The absolute origin of novel is obscure or doubtful, but it seems clear that in the time of the 12th dynasty, Middle Kingdom, 1200 BC, Egyptians were writing fiction of a kind that is called novel today. The term novel originates from the production of short stories or novella that remained part of the European oral culture of storytelling into the late 19th century. Fairy tales, jokes, humorous stories designed to make a point in a conversation, and the exemplum or a story a priest would insert in a sermon belong into this tradition. Written collections of such stories circulated in a wide range of products, from practical compilations of examples designed for the use of colorics to compilations of various stories such as Boccaccio and Decameron, the name of the book, in his book, actually he wrote stories, and Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. The Decameron, that is the book in which is a compilation of 100 novel told by 10 people, 7 women and 3 men, fleeing the Black Death by escaping from Flores to the Fazola. The present English word for a long work of prose fiction derives from Italian novella for new, news or short story of something new. The Latin novella is singular noun of the neuter plural novellus, diminutive small of novus, meaning new. So, new and novel come from the same Indo-European root but by different paths, whereas new is a Germanic word coming from Old English. Novel is based on Latin novellus, new, young, fresh. If something is a novel, it is new but also original, fresh and unique. So, the word novel wasn't even used until the end of the 18th century. According to Margaret Dury, that's a Canadian author, the novel constitutes a continuous and comprehensive history of about 2000 years, with its origins in the ancient Greek and Roman novel, in chivalric romance, in the tradition of Italian Renaissance novella. The ancient romance form was revived by Romanticism, especially the historical romances of Walter Scott and the Gothic novel. The word novel wasn't even used until the end of the 18th century, again I repeated. E.M. Forster, a very popular novelist, in aspects of the novel, that is a series of lectures, he cites the definition of Frenchman named Abel Chevalet. In a fiction, novel is a fiction in prose of a certain extent, and adds that he defined extent as over 50,000 words. Novel is a genre of fiction, and fiction may be defined as the art or craft of contriving or making through the written word. So, representation of human life that instruct or divert or both. The novel, however, arises from the desire to depict and interpret human character. It tells a story about specific human experiences. The reader of a novel is both entertained and aided in a deeper perception of life's problems. Note, fiction is a literary genre that also includes other forms such as short stories. So, fiction refers to any made up story. So, we must make a little bit different between novel and fiction, because fiction is actually a larger term, as not being true, but purify entertainment, education, etc. This is. There are 3 main types of fiction: the short story, the novella and the novel. Novel is typically published as a book of length. It can be said the novel is a subset of book. A writer of novels is necessarily called a novelist. A novel is a relatively long work of narrative fiction, and the story is described very elaborately. A manuscript over 40,000 words is considered to be a novel. However, very few novels these days are as short as that. Generally, a 50,000 word novel would be the minimum word count. Most novels are between 60,000 and 1 lakh words. Moreover, J. A. Cudden, who was a novelist, writes in the Penguin Dictionary of Literary Terms and Literary Theory, there seem to be fewer and fewer rules, but it would probably be generally agreed that in contemporary practice, a novel will be between 60 or 70,000 words and say 2 lakh words. Novel represent character and action with some degree of realism. Unlike works of epic poetry, it tells its story using prose rather than words. Unlike short story, it tells a lengthy narrative rather than a brief selection. Unlike drama, it narrates story for the reader. Unlike story, it consists of plot or artistic design. In general, the main elements of novel are as follows: narration, plot, theme, setting, characters, conflict and resolution. The 5 components, namely the characters, the setting, the plot, the conflict and the resolution, are essential elements that keep the story running smoothly and allow the action to develop in a logical way that the reader can follow. In general, the main elements of the novel are as follows. So, these 5 components are very important, and this is the end of my lecture. Thank you very much.